Hey, boys and girls, this book is called Pumpkin Prize, written by Anne Miranda and illustrated by Annika Nelson. Pumpkin Prize, written by Anne Miranda, illustrated by Annika Nelson, and published by Macmillan McGraw-Hill. Mr. and Mrs. Pip lived in a house on a hill. Mr. Pip had a green thumb. He could grow plants like nobody else. He grew flowers and vegetables. He grew trees and shrubs. He grew everyday plants and strange plants from faraway places. Mr. Pip was such a good gardener that he always won a blue ribbon at the country fair. Mrs. Pip liked to cook. She made cakes and pies. She made soups and stews. She made jams and jellies, and she was a very good cook. But she had never won a blue ribbon at the county fair. One day, Mr. Pip found a strange seed. He wondered what it was. He showed the seed to Mrs. Pip, and it looked a little like a melon seed, said Mrs. Pip. Too pale, said Mr. Pip. It looks kind of like a cucumber seed, said Mrs. Pip. Too fat, said Mr. Pip. I guess the best way to find out what it is, said Mrs. Pip, is to plant it. Good idea, replied Mr. Pip. Mr. Pip chose the perfect spot in his garden to plant the seed. He dug a hole just so deep. He covered the seed with rich black soil, and then he gave the seed a long drink of water. In no time at all, the mystery seed sprouted. The sprout grew into a plant with green leaves and beautiful flowers shaped like trumpets. One morning, when Mr. Pip came to his garden, he noticed a tiny little round thing growing on the plant, where a flower had once been. Mr. Pip called Mrs. Pip. Guess what? My mystery seed is a pumpkin. How wonderful. Just think of the pumpkin pie I can bake for the county fair, said Mrs. Pip. Oh, no, you're not going to make a pie from this pumpkin. And that's final, said Mr. Pip. I'm going to grow the biggest pumpkin in the world and win the blue ribbon. Have it your way, said Miss Pip. Mr. Pip took extra good care of the pumpkin. He gave it lots of water. He pulled every weed that grew nearby, and he built a little fence around the pumpkin to keep rabbits and other pests like Mrs. Pip out of the garden. All summer long, the little pumpkin grew and grew. By June, the pumpkin had grown bigger than Mr. Pip's cat. By July, the pumpkin had grown bigger than Mr. Pip's dog. By August, the pumpkin had grown bigger than Mr. Pip's pig. By September, the pumpkin had grown bigger than Mr. Pip's horse. Even though he wasn't going to get a chance to bake a pie for the fair, Mrs. Pip couldn't help imagining all the good things she could make with that enormous pumpkin growing in Mr. Pip's garden. By October, the time of the county fair, Mr. Pip's pumpkin was as big as a house. It was, in fact, the biggest pumpkin in the world. Mr. Pip couldn't wait to take the pumpkin to the fair and win a blue ribbon, but when he tried to move it, the pumpkin wouldn't budge. Mrs. Pip watched from the porch as Mr. Pip tried to move the pumpkin. First, he tried to lift it. Too heavy, said Mrs. Pip. Then he tried to pull it. Too big, said Mrs. Pip. I guess the only way to get the pumpkin to the fair is to push it down the hill, said Mr. Pip. Bad idea, said Mrs. Pip. I'm going to push the pumpkin down the hill, and that's final, said Mr. Pip. Have it your way, said Mrs. Pip. Mr. Pip and the cat and the dog and the pig and the horse gave the pumpkin a big push. They pushed and they pushed and they pushed. Finally, the pumpkin began to move. Down the hill it tumbled. Around and around it went. Bumpity, bumpity, bumpity. Smash! The biggest pumpkin in the world lay in thousands of pieces at the bottom of the hill. Oh, my pumpkin! Oh, my blue ribbon, cried Mr. Pip. I'll never win one now. You could glue it back together, suggested Mrs. Pip. No glue, sobbed Mr. Pip. You could tie it up, said Mrs. Pip. No string, said Mr. Pip. You could cook it, said Mrs. Pip with a smile. Good idea, said Mr. Pip. Mr. Pip went to work at once. He peeled all the pieces of the pumpkin. Mrs. Pip got the pots and pans and turned on the stove, and she cooked and she cooked and she cooked and she cooked. And Mrs. Pip made pumpkin jam and pumpkin jelly, and she made pumpkin soup and pumpkin stew, and she made pumpkin cake, and Mrs. Pip made the most delicious pumpkin pies Mr. Pip had ever tasted. And when everything was done, they loaded up the truck and they went to the fair. Mrs. Pip's pumpkin delights won every contest at the fair, 6 ribbons in all. Whatever food she didn't enter in the fair, Mr. Pip sold from the back of the truck, and everyone wanted a taste of the biggest pumpkin in the whole world. Mrs. Pip came home happy and with enough money to buy a new stove for herself and a new garden hose for Mr. Pip. Mr. Pip, we make a good team, and that's final, said Mrs. Pip. But next year, I think we should grow tomatoes. Too squishy, said Mr. Pip. How about peppers, said Mrs. Pip. Too crunchy, said Mr. Pip. How about pumpkins, asked Mrs. Pip. Good idea, said Mr. Pip. And so they did. Pumpkin Prize. I hope you love this book.